Boy, is it great to be back. I'm sure you're probably wondering where I've been for the past few weeks. Well, let's just say that I've been engaged in top secret non-canon expert related work, taking the fight to the evil empire to ensure total victory for me and my friends. What kind of work? Only the most highly productive kind, of course, which will unquestionably get my friends back into the canon. Regardless, whether or not I've been training for the inevitable battle with the evil empire, or whether I lost my mind by staying up all night playing Battlefront, you have my word. There'll be no unaccounted for disappearances going forward. And trust me, when the non-canon expert gives his word and commits to something, he always sees it through to completion. Jarkai, a style of lightsaber combat utilizing two lightsabers, was used by both light side and dark side users, such as Ahsoka Tano, Pong Krell, Asajj Ventress, and even Darth Sidious. Although many Jedi were proficient with Jarkai, and it was not uncommon for them to take up the use of two lightsabers during a duel, very few Force users were true masters of the technique, and the use of Jarkai in combat was relatively rare. In this video expose, I will describe the origins of the Jarkai style of lightsaber combat and explain how it was that the Jarkai technique ultimately came to be adopted by the Jedi Order. Jarkai was originally developed to be utilized in combat not with dual lightsabers, but rather dual swords. To be applied as a style of swordplay, the Jarkai style was invented by the Yavshin swordsmen during the era of the Old Republic, thousands of years prior to the events seen in A New Hope. The Yavshin swordsmen lived on the ancient planet of Atresia, a planet that was governed by a planet-wide empire that was founded roughly 25,000 years before A New Hope, and that was controlled by a succession of ruling emperors known as the Kai-Telfar dynasty. The emperors were protected, and control of the planetary Atresian Empire was maintained through the use of the Yavshin swordsmen and their Jarkai sword technique, which gained them galactic fame. They invented and developed a style of sword fighting whereby the Yavshin swordsmen wielded a sword in each hand. To better meet the needs of their new dual-bladed Jarkai technique, the Yavshin swordsmen came to craft their own set of dueling sabers that would fit within their new style. These weapons were crafted and adopted by the Yavshin swordsmen for the express purpose of being wielded in each hand and within their Jarkai technique. Because the new dual-bladed technique and the swords themselves were first developed and crafted by the Yavshin swordsmen in the Atresian city of Jarkai, the style adopted the name of the city that birthed it. Jarkai would go on to become a blanket term once the technique was adapted to the use of lightsabers that referred to the use of two blades in combat generally. Now me personally, I'm not a proficient Jarkai lightsaber duelist, but I have been having a pretty specific recurring dream that makes me think that I'd be a natural. It always takes place on Mustafar, where I'm in the middle of a vicious duel with the evil empire for control of the canon. I'm using an aggressive form of Jarkai, wielding two friends who most certainly deserve to take their place back within the canon. Naturally, the evil empire is utilizing a very defensive Sarisu style, allowing them to easily defend against all of my best arguments. However, I see an opening, and start to dive into my theory on how to get both Darth Bane and Darth Sana back into the canon, which will only require a few minor retcons that could be introduced in the Rebels TV series. As the evil empire starts tiring, the God Emperor Filoni himself shows up. Of course, he attempts a balanced approach, imploring me to let go of my anger and find a balance within myself that would allow me to accept and take from both sources. After explaining to the God Emperor that the Season 2 finale of Rebels is some of my favorite Star Wars material of all time, I remember the betrayal and my dedication to my friends. As I begin questioning their intentions for Grand Admiral Thrawn, putting both of them on their heels, they start to explain the full arc for Thrawn, where he'll... Wait, this isn't a dream. I'm actually on Mustafar this time. I need to get out of here. I'm not finished explaining who invented the Jarkai style of lightsaber combat yet. Do I hear Bane? Bane, is that you? Bane! Where is he? Bane? Evil Empire? High ground? Oh no! The dual blade technique that came to be adopted by the Jedi Order, developed as part of their sixth form of lightsaber combat, did not just trace its origins to the Jarkai technique developed by the Yavshin swordsmen. Just as influential was another dual-bladed technique known as Naiman. Naiman, which like Jarkai, was developed to be utilized with swords, and was only later adapted to lightsabers. It was invented by the Royale Macheteros, who formed part of the Kashimir monarchy. The dual-bladed Naiman style of swordplay, originally developed by the Royales, was brought within the purview of Force users by a group adhering to the dark side of the Force, known as the Legions of Latau. The Legions of Latau adopted the Naiman technique during the First Great Schism, one of the first occurrences wherein the followers of the Jedi Order became fragmented, roughly 24,500 years before A New Hope. When the Jedi ultimately defeated the Legions of Latau in the conflict, the Jedi Order adopted the Naiman technique and eventually developed it into the Order's sixth form of lightsaber combat. Both the Jarkai technique developed by the Yavshin swordsmen and the Naiman technique developed by the Royale Macheteros predated the invention of lightsabers and were invented to be utilized during combat involving swords. However, once lightsabers were invented, these styles were easily adapted by the Jedi and other Force users to become applicable to lightsabers. While the techniques of Naiman were generally those used by the Jedi Order and was seen as a gateway into Jarkai, Jarkai developed into a blanket term and referred generally to combat consisting of two blades. So there we have it. Who invented the Jarkai style of lightsaber combat and how these techniques eventually became adapted by users of the light and dark sides. We love making these videos, so why not subscribe for more fun Star Wars theories and discussions? Also, if you enjoyed the video, think about giving a like or leaving a comment. If not for me, for trying new things but not always succeeding. Don't do it, Bane. We aren't strong enough yet. This isn't the only way to get back into the canon. We need to gather our strength in the shadows and strike at a time of our choosing, when we can get everyone back into the canon. You know that better than anyone. Remember, Bane, the future is always in motion. It's not inevitable that you'll become Edward. No! Bane, no! No! Bane. Bane! Oh. Thank God, Emperor Filoni, it was just a dream. I'm not on Mustafar. I'm here in my bed. Well, since I'm up, I might as well go play some Battlefront. Just a few hours. Ah! Bane? What are you doing here? How'd you get in? Wait, who's after you? Slow down, Bane. I can't understand a single word that you're saying. Okay, calm down. Start from the beginning. Who's coming to get you? Oh, perfect. Turning off the light will help. Just turn it back on, Bane, and tell me who it is you think is after you. Bane? Hello?